Where in the Bible do you find this phrase, the sacrifice of the Mass? In other words, is the Mass a sacrifice? If you say yes, where do you find it in the Bible? That the Mass is a sacrifice. You'll have to find it in the New Testament, right? Is it anywhere said the sacrifice of the Mass? And it will always be in the Gospels at the end. No. Never find that. Right? And yet we so often say the sacrifice of the Mass. The question is, most people say the Mass is not a sacrifice but a meal. The Last Supper. We look at the Last Supper and we say the Mass is an enactment of the Last Supper. Make sense to you? Very clear. Okay? So the Mass is an enactment of the Last Supper. But the church keeps using the word sacrifice of the Mass, which means it has to also be a sacrifice. Many say the sacrifice is on Calvary and not at the Last Supper. At Calvary, we have the sacrifice. There, you see the blood being spilled, Jesus being killed. On Calvary. Not at the Last Supper. At the Last Supper, there's no spilling of blood. If you were at Calvary as a Jew, if you're a Jew and you were at Calvary on Good Friday, you would say it is a bloody execution and not a sacrifice. A Jew would not consider that to be a sacrifice. He would say this is a bloody execution. Killing of a man, executing a man in a very bloody way. Spilling a lot of blood. Makes perfect sense. Right? Why? Because for the Jew, by tradition, a sacrifice had to be offered in Jerusalem. Was Jesus crucified in Jerusalem? He was taken outside the gates of Jerusalem, crucified along the highway, if you remember. People going by could read the sign over his cross. So he was not crucified in Jerusalem. The second thing would be the sacrifice had to be in the temple. Was he crucified in the temple? Definitely not. Okay? So two things. Third thing, the sacrifice had to be offered by a priest. Was the priest present there? No. Most of the priests were hiding in the temple. They didn't want to be seen there at the site of execution. Okay? And finally, it had to be offered on an altar. Right from the time of Isaac, you remember, they made an altar to sacrifice him. All sacrifices were on the altar. Old Testament, later on it all comes into Jerusalem. So by no means does the Mass or the act of Calvary qualify as a sacrifice for the Jews. So for the Jews, it's not a sacrifice. For the Jews, it's not a sacrifice. Because none of these four things are found in Calvary. So it's not a sacrifice. But for us Catholics, it is a sacrifice. Some of the things I'm going to be saying right now will really help us very much to understand things. None of these were present on Good Friday. Clear? Okay? Nor were there cattle, sheep, goats, etc. to be sacrificed. We didn't have any animals to be sacrificed. Now, of course, most of you will say Jesus himself was sacrificed. Jesus was sacrificed. Right? Jesus was sacrificed. My words are very clear? Do you accept that? Jesus was sacrificed.
Jesus is sacrificed?
Pardon?
Jesus is sacrificed?
I think so.
I mean, Jesus is sacrificing every day. I mean, it's a daily process. It's not in the past, it is in the present.
Yes, now.
Yeah.
But that day on Calvary, what happened? Was his sacrifice?
There, it was a brutal thing.
It was a
brutal thing. But for us, it is a sacrifice because he said, and it's a continuous process. Like,
okay, very good. It was a brutal act, yes, but for us it is something different, but it's a continuous act. Fine. Then you see, yes. Then you realize he was not sacrificed. Was not sacrificed. You'll see that when we come there. How does a bloody execution become a sacrifice? No problem. Look back on Holy Thursday and recount what happened there. Now we are going back to the Last Supper. We are in the Last Supper. What was basically the Last Supper? It was a Jewish custom of celebrating the Passover. The whole family had to gather together. If your family was too small and you would not be able to finish the whole lamb that has been cooked, then you call your poor neighbors also together. Or your neighboring families who are again numerically small number. Together we join together because in the end we have to finish that roasted lamb. It cannot be kept for tomorrow. It has to be finished. Everything has to be cleared up. So we come together. The blood of the slaughtered lamb is put on the lamppost. Then there are certain rituals where we light those candles and we take the blessing of the flame. Okay? We do all those rituals. Now what happens that day? On Holy Thursday, Jesus was not just having a meal, but was celebrating the Passover for the last time. No difficulty about that. Right? He was having the Passover celebration for the last time. They were present. Okay? So we have Jesus goes through the rituals of what they call it, saying all those prayers, etc., everything. And then he now starts, he is fulfilling the Passover by being the Lamb of God himself. They have killed the lamb. Sure, they have eaten that. Now he's telling them that I am now the new Passover lamb. He's telling them, Jesus, I am the Passover lamb now. So what happened in the Old Testament is being reenacted now as the Lamb of the New Covenant. He's making a new promise to them. Do this in commemoration of meals. As you said, Mass is now being celebrated on a regular basis. So a new covenant is beginning. Clear? Now listen again. Before beginning the Passover meal, okay, he took bread, gave thanks, broke the bread, and said, "This is my body, which will be given for you." He's now taking a piece of bread and saying, "This is my body, which will be given for you." Very clear? Let's move ahead. At the end of the meal, he takes the cup and says, "This cup is poured out for you in the new covenant, and this is my blood." In the new promise, this becomes the new promise. We are sealing this promise with my blood.
Father, did we miss this blood will be poured out for you and many?
And many, okay. That's okay. You is not only the people here, he wants to say for all of us. Many means for all of us. So it's poured out for each and every one of us. Good, okay? The controversial things will come a little later. The Passover sacrifice of the lamb ends with a common meal. He said this, now we sit down to eat. What do we eat? The lamb that was sacrificed. We do the same thing at Mass. You go to the Word of God, as she said, we listen to the Word of God. We have the sacrifice offered on the altar, and then you come back at the end for what? To be fed. So going for Mass and not receiving communion is as good as not going for Mass. Similarly, we need to eat. We need to participate in Holy Communion. That's when the sacrifice of the Mass becomes complete for me.
But I would beg to differ on this. I would beg to differ on this, on my opinion. I'm always told that if you don't hear the Mass properly, or if you have sinned, or if you've done something wrong, and if you have not confessed and felt deeply sorry for your sin, you should not receive the Holy Communion.
Right.
And that's always that thing that I practice.
Yes.
So is it something wrong that I do, or?
No, it's the perfect thing. It's the right thing to do. Where does the Mass begin? At the bottom of the altar. I confess. If you have not gone for confession, get out of the church, go for your confession. There is a prayer just before communion, which you don't hear because the priests, we priests are very good at opening our mouths. We don't say the prayer clearly, or there's something happening at that time. So we don't hear that prayer. It says, may the receiving of your body and blood not lead me to condemnation. You heard me? May the receiving of your body and blood not lead me to condemnation, but bring me for me a remedy, healing remedy of body, mind, and soul. You haven't heard this prayer because the priest hardly says it and it's not distinct. So what are you being warned of? If you're in the state of mortal sin and you receive communion, there you go. Condemnation. The body and blood of Christ helps me towards redemption. But if I receive the body and blood of Christ in a state of mortal sin, it helps me towards condemnation. So then what do you have to do? You go to confession. Father, these are the mortal sins I committed, and I committed one more. I received communion in the state of mortal sin. Unfortunately, we don't get a chance of making a good confession. I need to find a priest who understands my psyche, who knows me only not as a person, but knows my physical problems, my mental problems, my emotional problems, someone who understands all those aspects of me. And then he can advise me on what to do, how to go back, get on in life. And then I begin to somehow say, yes, I can get out of this sinful habit. So there are ways. Okay, but as I said, we don't find good enough priests among us to understand people. Right now we are having retreats here for the college students, and everyone in their report at the end says, we have never had a confession like this in our whole lives. It's very nice. You feel nice at the end when you hear something like that. You know, say, I felt so light after that. I could jump. Why? Because the priest has understood, and we don't make you kneel down. Sit here. Sit. I've come for confession. I should be on my knees. No, sit. You make your confession, and then you realize, yes, through the new covenant, Jesus heals me. He heals me. Once I'm healed, then I come to receive the body and blood of Christ. Okay? So now you're hearing more things. We need to somehow find out and see how I can use it, how I can discover myself. And it's the same journey. Okay? Jesus dies as the Lamb. On Calvary, Jesus dies as the Lamb. And that's the lamb that we eat on the Passover day. At Holy Communion, we eat the bread which is turned into his own body. Okay? Thursday is not just a meal, and Friday makes it a sacrifice, the final culmination. It's not Thursday and Friday separated. It started here, ends there. No, it is one continuum. What started on Thursday ends on Friday. And we will see how. Jesus did not lose his life on Friday. May I repeat that? Jesus did not lose his life on Friday. He had already given it to us on Thursday. Loaded? Jesus did not lose his life on Friday. He had already given it to us on Thursday. Yes. He was not a victim of Roman violence and injustice, but a victim of love. A gift which he gave us before anyone laid a hand on him. Very nice sentence, very beautiful. You think the Jews killed him? No, he was not a victim of Roman violence and injustice, but a victim of love. 1 minute. Victim of love. A gift which he gave us before anyone laid his hand on him. He already told us the previous day. Remember I said, will be given. Take this bread. Will be given tomorrow. He had already given it on Thursday at the Last Supper. They killed him, yes, but they did not kill him as violent. He had already submitted himself. Submitted himself in love to the Father, for love for us. Make sense now? Now you see the two combined. It becomes something very beautiful. Jesus was not captured and taken. Even in the Garden of Gethsemane, after the beautiful kiss he received. Yeah, who are you looking for? Down. Everybody falls down. You think he would not have walked away? He would not have to run. He could walk away. All the soldiers would have been there on the floor. He could have done it. He said, no. Peter pulls out his sword. No, put it back. Picks up the ear from the ground, puts it back to the guy's ear. No, I've come here to offer myself. You have come here to capture me. You don't need to capture me. I'm offering myself.
So then your first question which you asked us about the Mass and the sacrifice, then the answer would be Jesus sacrifices himself.
Thank you very much. Jesus sacrifices himself out of love for us. So the Mass is a sacrifice. We celebrate the Passover Eucharist, which is the sacrifice. It is a sacrifice. It is also a celebration of the resurrection of Christ. And the Mass is a celebration of the resurrection. It's a celebration of the resurrection. We go through the life and death of Christ, yes, but we celebrate the resurrection. Why? Because through the Mass, Jesus becomes again physically present with us here. I repeat that again, the Mass and the Eucharist is a celebration of the risen Lord. Make sense? Jesus says, do this in remembrance of me. He doesn't say, write it. He doesn't say it. Do it. Break my body, break my blood, consecrate my blood, and have it. Do it.